my trusty Garmin Forerunner 245 finally broke. This thing did me very, very well. I had it for about 3 years. It got me through my first ultra marathon, a ton of runs, a ton of training. So I was sad to see it go, but overwhelmingly, you guys recommended to me to get a Coros watch. So I did listen to you, and I actually decided to go with the Coros Pace 2. It was a little over $200. I got it from Amazon. It arrived just a few days ago, and I'm really excited to share with you guys what I think so far of the watch. In this video, I just wanted to discuss the top 3 things I love about this watch and the top 3 things I don't love so much about this watch. So let's get right into the video. The first thing I love about this watch would definitely be the data and the displays and the features it has. I mean, if you go into the Coros app, you can customize so many different things. You can download a bunch of different faces you want for the watch, different displays. This will tell you your current elevation, your fatigue level, your recovery level, your sleep. It's just so great, and there's just a ton of things packed into this small watch, and I absolutely love that about a watch. I mean, the more things they can give you, the better I see it. You know, a lot of them are kind of things you don't exactly need all the time to look at, but they're nice to have, you know, those other statistics that you don't get to see too often. Pleasantly surprised with the amount of options they give you in pretty much every regard. The second thing I love about this watch, and what Coros is known for most probably, is the battery life on this watch. I gave it a full charge yesterday morning. It's now the next day in the evening, so it's been about 36 hours. I've gone on 2 runs with this thing. I've been toggling through every single option and doing a lot of stuff just on the watch, looking through all the displays and everything. So I've been on it a ton, and I still have almost 90% battery after 2 runs with GPS and toggling through everything a day and a half later, which is really good. I mean, if it kept up at this pace, that'd be what, 20 runs? Since I'm at 90%, that'd be 20 runs total. The Garmin had a decent battery life. It wasn't bad. I was able to get through, you know, several runs usually without having to charge it. But if this can keep with this pace, and I mean stick with like, you know, 15 to 20 runs or so every time in between charges, that would be amazing. I know Coros are known for this, so that is awesome. Hopefully it's able to keep that battery life. I know that's something my Garmin struggled with. Later on in its life, the battery started to dwindle pretty significantly, and that was kind of eventually its downfall. It just didn't end up holding a charge at all, and it kind of just finally died. So I hope after you know, a year or so use of this, the battery life is still great. But for right now, I can definitely say that the battery life is in fact great. Now, the third thing I love about this Coros watch, and probably the most practical, is the price point. When I picked up the Garmin Forerunner 245, it was about $250 new. Granted, you can get one now for much cheaper, but it's a very heavily outdated model watch. It was just over $200 straight from Amazon. It came pretty much the next day as I ordered it, which is really awesome, especially with the amount of features and everything it can do. $200 is a great price point, I think, to enter the market if you're looking for, you know, kind of one of the beginner level entry models for a running watch that has all the bells and whistles, the GPS, and everything you could ever need. That's just a great price. You're not going to really find anything else, especially for the value with what you get in the Coros. And now for the 3 things that I don't love so much about this watch. There's nothing too bad to report, really. Overall, I do love the watch, but there are a few things. The first thing would be the heart rate monitor. I know these are kind of gimmicky as it is. I mean, on my Garmin Forerunner 245, I know a lot of people would ask me on my Strava runs, they'd see my heart rate and say, whoa, why was your heart rate so low or high on this run, or this and that. I know the heart rates aren't really so accurate on these watches. If you really want an accurate one, I would really suggest getting one of those straps you can wear. Those probably report the actual heart rate a lot better. And so I know you shouldn't really rely on these things, but they say they have a heart rate monitor, and they kind of use that as a selling point that it tracks your heart rate. And from what I can tell so far, it's not super accurate. It can kind of give you a ballpark idea, but I wouldn't, you know, count on it and be super reliant on what the heart rate says. It's not that big of a deal, but they advertise it as a heart rate, and I haven't really seen a running watch yet that really has a true accurate heart rate. Like I said, if you want a really accurate heart rate, probably just go with one of those straps. Don't rely on these too much. Now, for the second thing I am not super fond of about this watch, and this is specific to the Pace 2, is this little dial that you use to toggle between options and go up and down. I would just much rather prefer buttons. My last watch had the buttons. You know for sure if you're hitting the button or not, and it, you know, gives you a little beep and lets you know that you've given it that input. With this, you can feel the vibration when it receives your input, but I just worry about a use over time if this will work super well after a year or so. Even right now, right in the beginning, it's not exactly super responsive the way buttons I know would be. Sometimes this one can slip through and you'll go up or down and it won't do it. You have to do it once or twice. And I'm just not a huge fan of it. I know that seems like something really small and not that big of a deal. It's not my favorite and I would just prefer something else. And the third and final thing that I just don't really like too much about this watch is really the overall feel and quality of it. It's a lot lighter than my Garmin, which is, I mean, I guess good for the runs, but it's not like the Garmin was super heavy. I just don't like the feel of it. The strap that it came with does not feel too great. It feels like it would break very easily. And the actual watch itself, it's just very light, feels kind of flimsy, and I just don't love that. With my Garmin, that was something, you know, I could go run and do a workout and shower up and just keep that watch on, and then I could go out, you know, to dinner with my girlfriend or something. This watch just feels kind of cheap to me, and also the face looks a little cheap. I know the watch is for running and working out. It's not for going out or looking super nice or fancy, but it is something, you know, that I just noticed kind of right away when I put it on, especially compared to having the Garmin. Like the last Garmin I had, the strap just felt a little bit nicer, a little bit more snug and secure. This one just feels a little flimsy, and overall, I wish the quality just felt a little bit nicer. It doesn't mean it isn't good quality or that it won't last a long time. They could have done a slightly better job with just the feel and overall, you know, aesthetic of it and make it feel a little bit not so cheap. So that's going to be my review for this watch. I've loved having it over these last few days and I can't wait to break it in more. Overall, I would highly recommend this watch. I love it. Do I like it better than my last watch, the Garmin Forerunner 245? Yes, I would probably say yes. A lot more features. Battery life, I think, is going to be a lot better. And overall, yeah, I just like it more. It's cheaper. I think it's better. And, you know, watches over time are always getting better. That's an older model. So I would highly recommend this watch. And I'm really excited to keep going with it. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And let me know what you guys want to see for the next video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, be good humans, do good things, search for happiness. Peace.